Yeah, we gonna get you to the hospital. You ain't going nowhere. My foot.
A chilling new piece of evidence has surfaced from the night King Von was fatally shot, and it's sparking more questions than answers. The Bodycam footage, released on July 23, 2024, brings a disturbing new perspective to the chaos that unfolded that night. It captures Von in his final moments, visibly injured and pleading to go to the hospital, complaining about his leg. But the officer's response is strikingly cold: "You ain't going nowhere." These moments of desperation reveal that Von may not have even been given a fair chance to survive. But what's even more unsettling is what the footage reveals beyond just this exchange, offering a deeper glimpse into the tragic events of that night. To rewind a bit, it was November 2020 when King Von, born Davon Bennett, was enjoying a night out in Atlanta at the Monaco Hookah Lounge. What should have been an ordinary night quickly spiraled into violence. The Bodycam footage, which was shared by the @MyMixedUpHas account, sheds light on the raw chaos that followed the gunshots. And it's no surprise that it's gone viral, circulating quickly across social media platforms. The footage even carries a watermark from @Sherricks_history, an Instagram account known for documenting the gritty underbelly of Chicago's drill music scene, an account well-versed in the events and players of this world. What makes this development even more shocking is the timing. The footage, emerging 4 years after Von's death, raises eyebrows. Why is this footage only coming to light now, after so much time has passed? The delay has sparked plenty of speculation, with some questioning the agenda behind its release. A Twitter user bluntly called it out, pointing out the delay and asking why it's resurfacing now. This timing feels peculiar, making many wonder what the true motives might be. For those who may not be familiar with the backstory, let's break it down. King Von was far more than just a drill rapper from the notorious O-Block neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. He was living the life he rapped about. Known for his gritty authenticity, Von's music connected deeply with fans who saw him as a real figure in the drill scene. His reputation was solid, and his lyrics often painted vivid pictures of life on the streets, with a few songs hinting at his troubled past. You may have even seen the 2023 documentary King Von, rap's first serial killer, which explored his alleged street involvement and body count. Whether you believe those claims or not, Von's street credibility was unquestioned in the world of drill music. The night of his death was marked by an altercation with Quando Rondo's crew outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, which escalated quickly from a fist fight to an all-out shootout. When the situation turned violent, Timothy Leaks, a member of Quando's team, allegedly fired the fatal shot that took Von's life. This footage, now resurfacing, is just one more piece of the puzzle, showing the brutal, chaotic reality of that tragic night. The emergence of new body cam footage from the night King Von was tragically shot has shed more light on the disturbing chaos surrounding his death. The footage reveals a chilling moment where Von, injured and pleading to be taken to the hospital, is met with a cold response from an officer: "You ain't going nowhere." It's a harrowing glimpse into the final moments of a life cut short. But what makes this new footage even more unsettling is the revelation that police were already on the scene when the shooting unfolded. While it's been confirmed that Von was struck during the initial gunfire between his crew and Quando Rondo's, some reports suggest that officers may have even fired during the chaos. This only deepens the complexity of the situation. The body cam footage also shows officers attempting to regain control of the chaotic scene, with frantic commands echoing through the mayhem: "Get out the car," and "We're getting you to the hospital." The desperation in these voices speaks volumes about the life-or-death reality playing out in those crucial moments. Amidst this turmoil, Von's friend Moo was seen on surveillance footage, desperately trying to drag Von's body to a car, attempting to rush him to safety. That kind of loyalty is rare, and Moo's actions underscored the powerful bond of friendship, something that is often talked about but rarely seen in such a raw, life-or-death context. However, the footage doesn't end there. Other recordings show another one of Von's associates, allegedly opening fire on Lil Tim, only to be shot by police, resulting in severe injuries. The sheer violence of the scene is reminiscent of something straight out of the Wild West, yet it unfolded in the heart of downtown Atlanta in 2020. If this had occurred at a high-profile event like a Travis Scott concert, it's almost certain that mainstream media would have covered it for weeks. Yet, because it involved drill rappers and street figures, the media gave it little attention, reporting on it for only a short period before moving on. The public's reaction to the footage has been varied and intense. Some fans are reeling from the new information, expressing their grief over Von's untimely death once again. One comment reads, "Rest in peace, King Von," while others take a much darker, more disrespectful tone, mocking Von's passing and labeling him as nothing more than a serial killer. It's disheartening to see how divided public sentiment can be, especially when it comes to a figure like Von, who held such cultural significance in the drill music scene. The violence that night set off a chain reaction of retaliation and escalating beefs that have continued for years. Von's death sparked an ongoing feud between his camp and NBA youngboys, particularly involving Quando Rondo, who was signed to NBA at the time. This beef led to further violence, with Lil Durk allegedly ordering a hit on Quando Rondo in response, which resulted in the death of Rondo's cousin, Lou Pab, in August 2022. The legal consequences of these events have been far-reaching, with multiple people charged and arrested in connection to the retaliations. In October 2024, 5 of Von's associates were charged in a murder-for-hire plot against Rondo, with Lil Durk himself arrested and facing charges. Durk's trial, initially set for January 2025, was postponed to October 2025, as investigators work through over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence and thousands of pages of reports. On the flip side, Timothy Leaks, the man accused of pulling the trigger that killed Von, had his murder charge dismissed in 2023, a decision that has sparked outrage and disillusionment with the justice system. While Von's alleged killer is free, Durk faces serious time for an act of retaliation, illustrating the often unequal and unfair nature of the streets and the judicial system. Meanwhile, Quando Rondo is now facing his own legal troubles, serving a 33-month sentence for federal drug conspiracy charges, a far cry from his once promising career as a rising rapper. The circumstances surrounding these events highlight the destructive nature of street beefs and the ripple effects they have on everyone involved, both directly and indirectly. Von's death wasn't just another incident in the drill scene, it marked a turning point, with his legacy now intertwined with the larger narrative of violence and retaliation that continues to impact the drill community. His music, especially tracks like Crazy Story and Took Her to the O, wasn't just entertainment, it was a reflection of his life and the harsh realities of the streets he lived on. His passing left a void, and the impact of his loss is still felt by fans and peers alike, many of whom believe Von had the potential to become one of the greatest rappers of his generation. The story of King Von is far from simple. His troubled past, marked by gang involvement from a young age, shaped the man and the artist he became. Born into a world of violence, Von lost his father at a young age, and was forced to navigate the streets of Chicago without guidance. By the time he was a teenager, he was already deep in gang life, committing crimes and facing legal trouble. Despite his criminal record, Von's rise in the music world was undeniable, as he used his experiences to craft vivid narratives that resonated with fans. His death, though tragic, was the culmination of a life steeped in conflict, one that was both celebrated and vilified by different sides of society. In the end, Von's story serves as a sobering reminder of the violence that often accompanies the street culture glorified in music and media. It's a tragic cycle that claims lives, damages communities, and leaves behind a legacy fraught with both artistic achievement and personal loss. King Von's Twitter activity from his earlier years offers an eerie glimpse into his dark world, almost as if he was unintentionally leaving behind a trail of self-incrimination. He would post cryptic, unsettling messages, one of the most chilling being a tweet like "homicide is in the air," right before violent events unfolded. After the murder of someone named Modell in October 2012, Von tweeted "Who died?" just 17 minutes post the killing. Similarly, he posted "Check the stats" before a murder in the same year, followed by another message that seemed to mark the precise moment of the crime. Despite this blatant connection between his online activity and real-life violence, Von somehow managed to avoid being convicted. Time after time, he was arrested, even facing charges for a 2014 murder, yet due to missing witnesses or insufficient evidence, he walked away scot-free. In fact, in his song "What's Next," Von rapped about killing a witness, adding to the ominous cloud surrounding his criminal record. His co-defendant Big Mike took the fall with a 28-year sentence, while Von continued his life unscathed. By December 2017, after walking away from another murder charge, Von turned to music, largely due to the encouragement of his childhood friend, rapper Lil Durk. Durk saw the raw storytelling ability in Von and brought him into the rap world. Von's breakout song, "Crazy Story," released in December 2018, perfectly captured his knack for vivid, gripping narratives. The song, which detailed a robbery gone wrong, rapidly gained popularity, racking up millions of views in a matter of days. This success was followed by "Crazy Story 2.0" featuring Durk, earning Von his first Billboard chart entry. What made Von's music so compelling was the authenticity. When he rapped about street life, fans believed it, knowing that he had lived through it himself. In fact, many fans believed Von had the potential to be one of rap's greatest if he had been given more time. However, despite his musical rise, Von's street mentality never fully loosened its grip. In February 2019, Von and Durk were allegedly involved in a shooting outside the Varsity restaurant in Atlanta, allegedly targeting a man named Alexander Witherspoon. Detectives suggested that Durk's custom Jeep was involved, and both artists were eventually arrested, though they later bonded out. Still, Von's music career kept gaining momentum, with his debut album Welcome to O'Block reaching number 13 on the Billboard 200 and showcasing some of his most raw and introspective tracks, such as Armed and Dangerous and Demon. But just a week later, Von's life would tragically end in a confrontation that cut his career short. Von's story is often compared to a Greek tragedy, a young man with immense potential, born into a violent environment, who finds his escape in music, only for his past to catch up with him at the peak of his success. The music world was left wondering what could have been, as fans continued to mourn his untimely death. His personal life, especially his tumultuous relationship with rapper Asian Doll, became a public spectacle. Their on-again, off-again romance fueled much speculation, and even after his death, the drama around it persisted. Just recently, in March 2025, Von's sister publicly claimed that Von was only with Asian Doll for clout, sparking debates and controversy online. The controversy surrounding Von's personal life continues to affect how people view his legacy, with some fans defending him and others questioning his motives and relationships. Von's tragic end also played a role in escalating tensions between his camp and NBA YoungBoys associates. A significant part of the animosity arose over Von's connection with Asian Doll and his actions in the feud that led to the deadly November 2020 altercation. This incident resulted in Von's death, but it was also a flashpoint that ignited a bitter conflict that would have far-reaching consequences. Looking at Von's trajectory, it's impossible to ignore the complex blend of his street life and his burgeoning career in rap. His fans were drawn to the realness of his music, but that very realness was tied to a dangerous and violent past that ultimately contributed to his downfall. Von's legacy, much like that of other tragically lost rap stars before him, continues to spark conversations about the authenticity of street culture in rap music, the violence that permeates it, and the moral dilemma many fans face when admiring such figures. Posthumous releases of Von's music continue to fuel both admiration and skepticism. While some fans celebrate the authenticity of his work, others question whether his legacy should be defined by the violent persona he projected or by the potential he had as an artist who could have evolved beyond his past. The ongoing legal troubles surrounding Von's friends, like Lil Durk, and the complexities of the murder-for-hire case involving NBA YoungBoy's camp only further complicate the narrative of Von's legacy. The story of King Von remains one marked by undeniable talent, street violence, and the blurred lines between his real life and his music. The aftermath of King Von's death has become a chilling saga, showing how intertwined the music world is with the dangerous streets that many artists like him come from. Von's murder sparked a chain of retaliation and legal struggles that continue to unfold years later. A significant twist in this ongoing story involves the fate of those allegedly connected to Von's death. Despite the violent realities surrounding him, Von's passing ignited a ripple effect that continues to haunt his inner circle, especially his close friend Lil Durk. In 2024, Durk found himself facing grave charges related to an alleged murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo, a figure central to the tension that ultimately led to Von's tragic death. The plot supposedly stemmed from the ongoing beef between Von and the NBA YoungBoy camp, specifically involving Rondo. This murder-for-hire case has captivated the public's attention, not just because of Durk's status, but also because it highlights how the loyalty and rivalries that played out in Von's music have had real-world consequences. Interestingly, while Durk and several of Von's associates are under investigation for this retaliation, the man accused of killing Von, Timothy Lewell, had his charges dismissed in 2023. This legal rollercoaster showcases the stark contrast between the street justice that many fans romanticize and the way the legal system operates, where sometimes cases don't go the way one might expect. In the midst of this, Quando Rondo, who was heavily involved in the altercation leading to Von's death, is currently serving time for a federal drug conspiracy conviction, further complicating the tangled web of criminal involvement that surrounds these figures. This chaotic environment has made Von's legacy even more complex. His death has not only perpetuated the cycle of violence, but also deeply affected the way fans and artists remember him. His grave has become a site of pilgrimage for those who still feel connected to him, despite the controversy surrounding his actions. Ironically, it has also attracted a troubling amount of disrespect, as seen in the case of FBG Cash, a rival rapper who posted provocatively near Von's mural, only to be killed months later. Adding another layer to the tragic realities of Chicago's street culture. This polarized perception of Von is still echoed in discussions online, particularly on platforms like Reddit, where users argue about the meaning of his fame. Some argue that Von's legacy is rooted in his authenticity, seeing his rise as an honest reflection of the struggles in Chicago's toughest neighborhoods. Others, however, criticize the violence glorified in his music and life, questioning whether fans should celebrate a figure whose actions allegedly led to multiple deaths. The relationship drama surrounding Von and his on-and-off romance with rapper Asian Doll also continues to stir emotions. In March 2025, Von's sister sparked a new round of controversy by suggesting that Von's relationship with Asian Doll was driven by clout, which led to an outpouring of online commentary and debates. This personal conflict reveals another layer to the complex nature of Von's legacy, one that continues to evolve as family members and fans argue over his story, posthumously shaping his narrative. Perhaps what's most poignant about Von's story is how he represents a cultural dichotomy. On one hand, he was a gifted storyteller who vividly portrayed the struggles of his community through his music. But on the other hand, his life was deeply rooted in violence, creating a paradox that fans and critics have yet to reconcile. This moral ambiguity has sparked ongoing debates about whether the artist should be separated from the art, especially when the art itself is born from real-life violence. As Von's posthumous music continues to flood the airwaves, his legacy is both celebrated and scrutinized. The anticipation for his next project, King of Drill, highlights the continued reverence for his talent, even as his troubled past continues to cast a shadow. At the same time, legal cases like Dirk's trial, which is scheduled for 2025, keep the wheels of controversy turning, showing that Von's story is far from over. His rise, his fall, and the ensuing consequences have left an indelible mark on the music industry, and the ongoing legal drama suggests that his death may have only intensified the chaotic legacy that surrounds him. In the end, Von's tragic life and death reflect the harsh realities that many drill rappers face, a relentless cycle of violence and retribution. His story, much like those of other fallen artists before him, raises profound questions about the price of fame, loyalty, and survival in a world where the line between reality and art is often blurred. As new developments unfold, it remains to be seen how history will judge King Von, whether as a talented artist who never got to reach his full potential or as a figure whose violent past inevitably shaped his untimely demise.